Before we get started, a quick word from our sponsor, Community Financial's President CEO Tansley Stern's podcast, Despite Impossible. Now on to the show.
Studio Lounge interviews brought to you by Community Financial Credit Union.
Hey everybody, Mike Lawson here with CUBroadcast. Welcome back to our continued coverage of the Closing the Equity Gap 2025 event here in beautiful Detroit, Michigan. And in the Studio Lounge we have, oh my gosh, look who is back, Samantha Paxson, this time as founder and lead investor of Power and Light Cooperative. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Well
very exciting.
Done. Yeah. Okay, before we get into what you're going to be talking about on stage, tell us a little bit about Power and Light Cooperative. What is this all about, Samantha?
Power and Light Cooperative is a growth strategy and activation firm. We help vendors of credit unions and community banks, fintechs, tech firms, established organizations better design themselves for their buyer.
Okay.
So it's a mix of fractional finance leaders, CX strategists, marketing strategists, sales strategists, and product strategists that come together to help companies be human-centric rather than product-centric.
Oh.
And so we're helping publicly traded companies, we're helping small fintechs, we're helping companies in the insurance sector, in the lending tech sector, and all of the different use cases that credit unions and community banks use.
Right.
We're helping them actually pay off their value proposition and drive growth for their buyer.
Okay.
So it's been really fun.
This is brand new. Essentially, kind
Mike
of ish.
is 6 months old.
That's brand new.
We have 7 clients and
Good for you.
have exceeded 7 figures in top line.
Good for you.
Within that period of time. So it's super exciting, amazing strategists working on the team, and we just have a lot of momentum. So it's great. And along with that, as you know, I'm an advisor in residence with EY. So I'm helping them to drive their growth strategy and help be more connective to their client base, and lend my expertise. So it's been a fun moment in life.
You get to keep your foot in the proverbial credit union door, if you will,
Absolutely.
right? So you can still get to work with credit unions a lot, right?
Yeah, so many credit unions, they'll sign a deal or sign a contract with a tech firm, and then they're frustrated. They're frustrated. They're not getting the service they need. They're not getting the value proposition or the business case paid off that they were sold.
Yeah.
And so many tech firms say, I just need leads. I'm like, you don't need leads. You're going to frustrate the credit union. You need to mature yourself in this way in order to actually pay off what value you're providing to the space. And so I'm trying to reduce credit union frustration. I'm trying to help them actually hit their growth goals because they need tech firms. They need these firms to help them reach the consumer that's continually attriting away from traditional financial institutions. So we are on a mission to drive growth and to help credit unions live their mission by really winning the member moments and being the primary financial institution.
Well, you stole my thunder, Samantha, because I was going to ask you, what's the why behind this? What issues did you see, or what gaps are you guys looking to fill out there right now?
Well, it's so interesting. I just saw a gap in the market that there's a lot of go-to-market companies or marketing companies. This is a growth company.
Okay.
This is a business analysis organization that helps us understand from the buyer's perspective, what's it like working with your company? And it's essentially the same work I did in my 18 years at Co-op Solutions when I was the chief experience officer and we had all of this product coming to market, and I would see the things that were good and the things that needed extra support. And so through that experience, I've brought together an integrated team of finance, CX, marketing, sales, and product, all driving toward finding pockets of revenue for the vendor that we're working with and helping them to be in service to credit unions.
Now you can scale your knowledge. Is that essentially it?
Exactly.
You were doing it before for one company, and now you're doing it for multiple companies.
Yep, we're doing it for multiple companies, multiple sizes of companies, and it's funny. They all have similar problems. So it's meaty, it's fun work, it's appreciated, and they're already seeing lift and re-upping. So it's awesome.
Nice.
I'm having a lot of fun.
Good. Well, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of fun as well. Why not? All right. Having said all that, what's going to be your big message on stage tonight?
Well, it's interesting. I'm talking about human-based leadership and how human-based leadership is innately feminine. So digital first companies, they need to be connective and collaborative. It is not a hierarchical top-down leadership style. We have to move fast as digital first organizations, which means every functional area has to be locked at the hip and kind of behave in this kind of algorithmic manner. Our old leadership, 20th century, top-down, command and control style of leadership doesn't work in today's environment. It's something that's being talked about in the media right now. There's a very kind of male-focused type of approach in leadership, and yet it makes it difficult or creates less connectivity, it creates less trust. It puts up walls and silos. It doesn't engender loyalty from the team. And so my message is really about leaning into human first, empathetic, connective leadership traits, and that those traits are really found in a lot of women leaders.
For sure. And
you see that across credit unions right now. If you look at Tansley Stearns, look at Linda Arman, look at April Clovis. I mean, there's Patty Crookery. There's so many amazing examples of women leading credit unions right now that are just kicking butt, and they're coming in with this fresh, curious, open perspective that drives the right kind of change in those organizations. And there's a million studies done. I'm going to point to 3 in my talk that talks about when you have these types of leadership traits, your revenue grows up and your profits grow up.
So I like the sound of that too.
Yeah, it's good for business performance, it's good for leadership, and it's good for gender equality.
Okay, well that's so how do you connect the dots to equity, this equity gap that's going on right now? How do you connect the dots to that?
Well,
which is kind of the theme for tonight.
I see so many examples of women being held back, being told they're not good enough, being told that they have to jump through multiple hoops to get to that next level. And when we create the opportunity for different kinds of leaders than the ones that are traditionally in tech, 1 in 4 tech leaders is a woman, the rest are men. I was on an executive team where I was one of 2 women on a 9-person team that was all male. I was in a tech firm living that. And so we have to create more opportunity for that kind of inclusive leadership and make it easier for women to rise to the top. And that's a lot of what we're talking about today.
And Jay, just a tiny example of the incredible women leaders that are just in the credit union industry as well. That's just a small example of what's out there.
It's amazing.
It's pretty
cool.
And
I love watching their leadership and seeing the change that they're making. I mean, Stephanie Sheridan, Sundown Credit Union, that used to be Sandia Labs, she's doing so many exciting things. It's just, there's so many brilliant case studies of incredible leaders that are just driving the right kind of transformation in our industry and are kind of saying, I don't care, let's do this. And I'm all about it.
I like the sound of that. All right, last question for you.
Yes.
Obviously, you're going to be on stage talking about all this great, all the great points that you just laid out here. But what do you want to take away? What are some of your takeaways from this conference?
I'm excited.
Or this event, rather.
This is a very courageous conversation. I mean, given the environment that we're in, I think it's necessary to not be quiet and really remember that there's all kinds of humans in our workforce that we serve, and how do we make sure that we're using the right strategies to lift those voices and their ideas and the things that can really drive business forward. So I'm looking forward to learning from all of the speakers that are here tonight.
Me too. Me being a guy, but I'm so glad I'm here because I get to listen to all you great women up on stage, and I just soak it in like a sponge. So thank you for giving me a little thank you before. Get up there and share with all this type of stuff.
Thank you for being here and for creating a platform for this message.
Anytime. All right, Samantha, anything else to add before I let you go?
No, excited to be here.
Good stuff. All right, there she is. Power and Light Collaborative.
Yep.
Good stuff. Well done.
Thank you.
Studio Lounge interviews brought to you by Community Financial Credit Union.
A quick word from our sponsor, Community Financial's present CEO, Tansley Stearns' new podcast, Despite Impossible.